Hi everyone, it's Karen here with a new mixed media layout tutorial for my creative scrapbook kit club using their limited edition kit featuring Prima Marketing Sainte Tropez collection. Enjoy! This is my first layout with the August limited edition kit, and I used my favorite paper from the Sainte Tropez collection. It's called Sainte Tropez Port, and I actually created two layouts with the same paper as two papers come in the kit. The first layout is the one that you see here, and I'm just outlining the photo so I know where to put the stencil pattern. The stencil I'm using, it's called Shell Ginger, and it's a 6x6 stencil from Prima Marketing. And I used some yellow mica powder and mixed it with some Prima Finnabair Art Basics light paste. I mixed the paste with the mica powder on top of an acetate sheet from a piece of packaging, and then started adding it around with a palette knife. I wanted to create kind of like a star-shaped or sun-shaped pattern around by having the stems going out from the center. That's why I had measured where my picture is going to be so I don't have to waste some of the paste on top of it. The nice thing about the mica powder is that you can actually color in any paste, gesso, gel, and create the colors that you want in the colors and the texture that you want. I also wanted to incorporate some red and blue into my layout, so I took some Dilutions paint. This is After Midnight and Postbox Red, and just diluted the actual paint with water using the lid with whatever was on the lid already, because I wanted to create splatters in the background. I had to use quite a bit of water to really dilute the paint so I could create these smaller splatters, because whenever I was not adding enough water, it was creating really large splatters, which was okay because I like the different sizes, but I did want to create some smaller ones as well. So I kept on going around and pressing with my paintbrush and just using different techniques to get the splatters that I wanted. So the bigger splatters would come when I would splatter the brush on its own, and then I used to bang it with something else to create the smaller splatters. And I just went around the paint. This gets really messy, so what I do is I turn the paper around and try to splatter on the other side further away from me so I don't get it all over my clothes, because acrylic paint unfortunately does not come out from clothes. So as you can see, I'm just adding the blue, and then after I finished adding the blue, and I ended up doing the same thing with the red. I dried up the blue really well because I really didn't want to get any purple on my project. I wanted to have the blue and the red separate, and so I had to heat set in between them, and then I started adding the red and just adding more splatters with the red. The reason why I wanted these three colors, besides the fact that they're the primary colors and look really good together, is because of my photo, which you will see really soon. It had these really great colors, and it specifically had yellow, blue, and red. And it's a nice picture of my son that we took on a recent trip to Mexico, where these people were dressed up and looked really cool on the beach, and we just took some pictures with them and they looked awesome, and I just really wanted to recreate that picture. I love recreating backgrounds where they really kind of take you into the photo, and kind of you feel like you're there, right there when you take the photo, and you feel what I felt when I took it. I took the jute string that came in the kit, and I wanted to create kind of like flow between one side and the other by crisscrossing it. I also added some more of the string from my stash because I didn't have enough to create the look that I wanted. You can see how beautiful the paper is in the back as well, but I did love the front, so I had to use the one with the wood grain. So I took some masking tape and I started taping one side of the strings from each ones that I have cut out. I made sure that I measured the strings could go all across to the other side. So I just stuck all of these in the back, and this is a great trick if you want to create this kind of crisscross idea on your layouts or on any project. You can just use masking tape and hold it in the back. That way it holds, and you can just use it for the other side as well and glue it on stick it on the other side. This way I just went around and just stapled where I wanted things to go, or just basically stuck them with tape. It didn't matter. You could use either staples or you could use tape, and I just crisscrossed the strings, so it really gave a really cool texture in the background, going across and giving that really nice movement from one side to the other. Once all the strings were attached, I just took my tiny attacher from Tim Holtz and just basically stapled in the edges just to hold them, even double the hold. But you don't really need to do this, but it also adds to some distress look. For the photo, and now you can see my photo, I took some pieces and I cut them out of the different papers from the Sainte Tropez collection, and I just cut out different things and just kind of lined them up and stapled them to create a mat for my photo. Then I took some distress ink, and this is vintage photo one, and just added some brown color to the background to kind of match it to everything else, and then I had the perfect mat for my photo. I used some foam tape to just basically glue it to the background, and then I also stuck the photo to the mat. Then I took some feathers from my stash, and these are just dollar store feathers. I've bought them in different colors over the years, and I used yellow ones, red ones, and blue ones, and started adding them around the photo to mimic the feathers of that person that was dressed up on the beach. I really wanted to kind of mimic that look of those wings, so these feathers were perfect, and they also matched the splatters and matched the stenciled part and even the wood grain in the background. I love adding feathers to projects because they give such a cool effect and texture. So I've actually recently did a video where I use different things natural from the environment that you can use in your projects. I mean, these feathers are not really real, they're synthetic, but you could use real feathers as well. I took some art glitter glue to just glue the feathers. I just put a drop of glue underneath each feather. You can use any type of glue. This one just dries clear. So if it got on top of the feathers, I didn't mind because it would not show. And I just went ahead and just put underneath every single one just to make sure that they stay put. As a title, I used one of the die cut elements from the Sainte Tropez collection, and it's called Sunshine, and I took the fossilized amber distressed oxide inks and just rubbed it on top to make it yellow so it would match perfectly with the layout, and then I just glued it in the center at the bottom of my photo. The kit also comes with the matching Sainte Tropez chipboard, ephemera, and die cut elements, so it's perfect to embellish any layout. I wanted the feathers to kind of be toned down because I didn't want it to be the center of the page. I wanted the photo to be the center of the page. So I took some white gesso and started adding highlights to the feathers and to the strings that I had put in behind the photo. That way it created a little bit, it toned down the colors because they were very bright and they were kind of taking center stage, and I really wanted them to be toned down. So I went around and I just added them to the background, and to the feathers. And what was nice about it, and it just created these really cool highlights around, and it didn't kind of muck up the feather. It just looked as if it was a real feather. I made sure that when I was doing it, I was going with the paintbrush with the strokes in the same direction to make sure that it creates these really nice feathered lines. Then I took some of the gesso, I put it on the lid, and then really watered it down because I wanted to create some splatters in the background. So I really wanted to make this heavy gesso really watery. And this is a good trick if you want to create some like splatters, or you want to do like a whitewash in a project, then you just add water to any gesso. So I just went around and created some splatters, and then I turned the paper around and created splatters at the bottom as well. This layout didn't take me a long time to create, as it just basically happened on its own, and I really love how I was able to mimic the feathers in the picture so well. Thank you so much for watching. For more inspiration, subscribe to my channel and visit my website so you can follow my emails and posts. Bye!